So in today's video, I'm going to talk about 5 things to consider before purchasing a Peloton bike. I did do a bit of research before purchasing my bike as well, and I didn't find any videos that came up with like top 5 things to consider before purchasing a bike, but I figured that these tips will be helpful for anyone who's in the market to purchase this bike. So for a bit of background on myself, I've owned my bike for about 3 months so far. I've been really impressed with the motivation and results that I've seen from the bike. I do have a video documenting that progress as well if you are interested. Make sure you find a referral code for $100 worth towards accessories at your point of purchase. Each Peloton account holder will have their unique referral code that can be used up to 12 times per year. For $100, you can almost purchase a pair of the Peloton branded spin shoes, for example, which have a retail price of $125. And you may be wondering what's in it for the other party who owns the code. That party gets the same deal as well, $100 worth towards Peloton branded accessories. Consider trying the bike on an on-site location. For example, in Northern California, they have a Peloton store in Palo Alto as well as San Francisco, and that's especially helpful if you're new to the spin bikes or just want to try the Peloton bike. If there are no locations near you, I would also recommend trying to sign up for a spin class. For example, SoulCycle will run you about $35 per class. If you want to save a bit of money and do more classes, I would recommend searching Groupon for spin classes in your area. The deal I found was around $15 to $20 per class, and this was for a package of either 5 to 10 classes. What may be surprising to most is that there is no pause function on the Peloton. The first time I took a ride, I was looking all over for the pause button, but it does not exist. My idea is that Peloton didn't include it because they want to emulate a real live spin class in which you can't just pause the whole class just to take a break. Of course, you could just get off your bike and take a break on your own, but the whole class would keep resuming without you. And also, if they did have a pause function on it, the leaderboard stats would be totally skewed. For those non-competitive people, I'm sure leaderboard stats don't mean much, but for a select few, or at least the ones that are probably ranking higher, it probably does mean something. I was over on Reddit and I saw that a couple of users suggested that Peloton implement the pause function, but for those who use it, their leaderboard stats for that particular ride would be disabled. I think that's a great idea. However, what's in it for Peloton? They have enough of a following as is, and that is without having the pause function on the bike. Plan your routine before purchasing the bike. I would recommend trying to make a mental note of when you would ideally like to use the bike, whether it be waking up early and doing it first thing in the morning or the last thing you do before jumping in the shower and heading to bed. I would also recommend going through a few scenarios in your head on things that you would be telling yourself and how to combat those. For example, if you tell yourself, I don't have time, well, the solution would be, well, you have to carve out time for this to work, or it will burn my energy. And actually, the interesting fact about exercising is that when you exercise, you do tend to get more energy. And also, if you do put in honest effort for your workout, you will get endorphins. For me, this happens around the 20 to 25 minute mark of the ride. So even if I only have time to ride for 25 minutes, I do feel significantly better. Another excuse you may tell yourself is that I broke my routine or streak, what's the point in trying? And if you just kind of get off the bandwagon, you lose motivation and hope. That is a little bit drastic, but you do get the point. We've all said these things to ourselves at one point or another. Then they always say that the best workout is the one that you actually do. And in fact, one of the Peloton class instructors had said that during the ride, which I found was really motivating and true. Consider the 30-day money-back guarantee. I know those words sound really sales pitchy and very cliche, but it is true if you are wanting to try the bike but don't want to jump in all the way. And during that time period, consider filming or even journaling about your progress so the skeptics and especially yourself can see if it truly makes a difference. For me, I found that it did make a difference, as you can see in my previous video. I basically did that to document it for myself and then figured I would share it as well as my opinions on the bike. And honestly, once you start seeing results on yourself, it is a little bit addicting, and I do like the challenge. For me, the first area that I saw results on would be my core/ab area, and this is without doing any additional ab or core work exercises. In conclusion, I hope this list helped for those who are in the market for a spin bike or specifically a Peloton. I know there are other branded spin bikes out there, not just Peloton. There's Echelon, there's Nordic Track, just to name a few. I would suggest to compare the features of those. From what I gather, Peloton is the most pricey, starting at $22.45 for this spin bike, but in my opinion, it is well worth the money.